It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. I come to you today, my friends, in a bit of a somber mood. We have lost a giant in American music, folk music, rock music, great music. It is Robbie Robertson, one of the founding members of the band, the classic North American rock and folk band. He has died at the age of 80, following a long battle with prostate cancer. And I wanted to take some time today to pay tribute to Robbie and to take the time myself to look into more of what he accomplished. And I knew about Robbie, but I didn't know all of what I'm going to tell you today. So let's bask a little bit in the greatness that is Robbie Robertson and pay tribute to him. So I first came to know the band specifically from two primary sources: my Uncle Donnie and the American singer-songwriter Mark Cohn. So as a kid, my Uncle Donnie would often play music by the band, especially I remember he'd played in the evenings after getting home after a long day. I also remember riding in the car with him with the windows down and the music cranked, and we'd be singing along to The Wait or Up on Cripple Creek. And those are really great memories. And I remember the sound of this band being so warm and so inviting, and it was just fun to be immersed in their sound. I came to admire Mark Cohn and his music during my college days, as his music sounded to me like a continuation of the great singer-songwriters that I already knew and admired. People like James Taylor, people like Jackson Browne, Paul Simon, and the like. And I especially loved Mark's second album, The Rainy Season. That's an album that's very close to mine and Megan's heart. We listened to that one together often when we were first dating. And on Mark's fourth album, Join the Parade, he wrote a song called Listening to Levon, which was about Levon Helm and listening to music by the band. And I've heard Mark do that in concert a few times. And it's a wonderful song, and that really renewed my interest in the music of the band, and I've been a mature fan of them ever since. So when the news came last week of Robbie's passing, I decided that I wanted to take some time this week and pay tribute to his work. So here's some background information, y'all. I just want to go through some of this, and then we're going to listen to The Wait, which I am excited about doing with you all. So Robbie was the lead guitarist for Bob Dylan's band in the mid-'60s, something I didn't even realize. And he co-founded the band in 1967. Robbie is a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. He received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Academy of Songwriters. And in addition to his work with Dylan and his work with the band, he was a successful solo artist and, something I didn't even realize, y'all, a film musician. He worked on several film soundtracks with his friend Martin Scorsese. How about that? He has heritage in the Native American population as well, and his mother was both a Cayuga and Mohawk, and his mother was raised on a reservation southwest of Toronto. He became interested in rock and roll music as a kid, and he ended up, his first guitar teacher was his cousin, and he learned to play, and over time he got pretty darn good at it, right? And so the American singer Ronnie Hawkins, who I don't know much about, took notice of Robbie's playing and invited him to join him as a member of his road crew, because I think Robbie was really young at the time. But over time, being with Ronnie Hawkins, Robbie moved his way up and ended up playing in the band, first as a bass player and then as the main guitarist of the band. And this is where we meet Levon Helm, y'all, because Levon drummed and sang along with the Hawks, who was Ronnie Hawkins' band. Ronnie Hawkins was from Arkansas, and so was Levon. And that's how a Canadian like Ronnie gets to know Levon Helm. And they played together with Ronnie Hawkins, and then eventually struck out on their own as a group. They played on tour with Bob Dylan in 1965 and 1966 until he was injured in a motorcycle accident. And while Bob Dylan was recuperating the band, the people that would become the band, they met in upstate New York to jam and write songs. And it was during these sessions that songs like The Weight and Chest Fever and Caledonia, Mission and To Kingdom Come, those songs were written in this pink house where they were hanging out with Bob Dylan up in upstate New York. The backing band, as they were kind of known, first the Hawks and then with Bob Dylan, they were starting to find their own sound. And in 1968, they released Music from the Big Pink, I should say, Music from the Big Pink, referring to the house that they worked in with Bob Dylan, right? And that was their first studio album as the band. And they gained notoriety by playing at Woodstock in 1969, and the song The Weight was included in the popular 1969 movie Easy Rider. And they were on their way. So we're going to listen to The Weight, y'all. I am going to go with the version of this that is included in The Last Waltz. And this is a concert film that features the band playing basically what amounts to their farewell concert on Thanksgiving Day, 1976, in San Francisco. The film was released in the spring of 1978. And, come to find out, the film is directed by Marty Scorsese. How about that? And the film is considered to be one of the great concert films of all time. Scorsese employed some great cinematographers on the project who had worked on films such as Raging Bull, Close Encounters, Easy Rider, The Sound of Music, and West Side Story. An amazing amount of talent that is there to document this very special concert. Many friends and former bandmates were invited to appear on the concert, including, check out this list, y'all, Ronnie Hawkins, Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton, Neil Diamond, Emmylou Harris, Dr. John, Joni Mitchell, Van Morrison, Ringo Starr, Muddy Waters, Ronnie Wood, and Neil Young, and there's more. And we get to hear the Staple Singers performing along on The Weight with the band. So let's play this song and enjoy it. So here is the band and the Staple Singers playing The Weight from The Last Waltz. Off we go. That's a heck of a guitar. What you got there, Ronnie? Leave on singing.
Just feeling about half-past dead. Just need to find a place where I can lay my head. Mister, can you tell me where a man might find a bed?
I love this song.
He just
It's got such a great groove to it, doesn't it?
No was all he said. Take a load off Fanny. Take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny. And you put the load right on me.
I picked up my bags and went looking for a place to hide. When I saw old Carmen and the devil walking side by side, I said, hey, Carmen, come on, let's go downtown. She said, I gotta go, but my friend can stick around. Take a load off, Fanny. Take a load for free. Take a load off, Fanny.
And put the load right on me. Go down, Moses. There's nothing that you can say. It's just old Luke, and Luke is waiting on the judgment day. Hey,
It's a very
my
simple
friend,
tune, y'all.
What about a young Anna Lee?
But but it just hits you right in the heart, doesn't it? It looks and sounds great.
Take a load off Fanny. Take a load for free. Take a load off Fanny. And put the load right on me.
Right, there he is.
Crazy Chester followed me, and he caught me in the fog. He said, I will fix your rack if you take old Jack, my dog.
We're in E major, y'all.
I said,
A.
wait a minute, Chester.
A over C sharp to a D chord.
I'm a peaceful
Back to A.
man. He said, that's okay, boy. Won't you feed him whenever you can? Come on. Take a load off, Fanny. Take a load for free. Take a load off, Fanny. And put the load right on me.
Hang on now.
Get your cannonball, that'll take me on down the line.
Let's play percussion.
Cause my bag is sinking low, and I do believe that it's time to get back to this valley. You know, she's the only one. She takes me here, take a load off, Fanny.
Just take a load off.
Take a load for free. Take a load off, Fanny. And put the load right on me.
Oh, Fanny, take a load off,
On me. Where'd the rest of it go? And is this still the same thing? I haven't seen this before, y'all. I haven't watched this documentary. Old time religion. Give me that old time religion. I know this. Traditional spiritual. How great would it be just to be hanging out making sounds with these guys? Good enough for me.
Good enough. Good enough.
Little bonus here. I don't know how long this goes. Not much longer. Not much longer. It's great to see clips of them back in the day, you know, doing their thing. Really is. And it's really cool that that was filmed by such great filmmakers. Robbie went on to work with Martin Scorsese on many films, including the film score to The Color of Money, a movie that I know very well. The song from that movie, the Eric Clapton song for the soundtrack, It's in the Way That You Use It, was co-written by guess who? By Robbie. And he would go on to work with Scorsese on Casino, Gangs of New York, Shutter Island, The Wolf of Wall Street, The Irishman, among others. And that's a part of his work that I didn't know before taking the time to dive in and read up on his career. And I thought it was notable to bring to y'all here. But the other thing that I want to play by Robbie comes from a very special album, his 1994 soundtrack solo album called Music for the Native Americans. And this was a 3-part documentary put out by the cable outlet TBS. And Robbie composed the music for the documentary. in collaboration with other Native American and Canadian First Nations musicians. The group that he assembled were called the Red Road Ensemble. And especially the song The Ghost Dance, which is what we're going to listen to, we get references to the Battle of Wounded Knee and the near extinction of bison. He ended up winning a Juno Award for Producer of the Year for this project. So knowing how much, or reading into how much his Native American culture and heritage were important to him, I wanted to include this part of his output here for us today. So we're going to listen to Ghost Dance, which is from this this album, and I'm looking forward to it. So here is Ghost Dance from Robbie Robertson. Off we go. You know, he wrote The Wait in the late 60s. And we're fast forwarding almost 40 years later in his career to get this.
Crows brought the message to the children of the sun.
Crows brought the message to the children of the sun for the return of the buffalo and for a better day to come.
And for a better day to come. And you can kill my body. You can damn my soul.
You can kill my body and my soul for not believing in your God. Wow.
And some world down below. But you don't stand a chance.
Relative major.
Against my prayer. You don't stand a chance.
5 of 5.
They outlaw the ghost dance. We shall live again. We shall live again.
What a great vibe.
My sister above, but she has red paint. She died of wounded
Died at Wounded Knee like a Latter-day Saint.
like a Latter-day Saint. You got the big drum in the distance, and the blackbirds in the sky. And that's a sound that you hear when the buffalo cry. But you don't stand a chance against my prayer. You don't stand a chance against my love.
Back to the minor. Lovely. Lovely.
We shall live again.
We shall live again.
We shall live again.
I've got some Native American heritage myself,
Crazy
y'all.
Horse was a mystic.
Crazy Horse was a
Knew the
mystic.
secret of the
He knew the
trance.
secret of the trance. And Sitting Bull, the great apostle of the Ghost
Sitting
Dance.
Bull, the great apostle of the ghost dance. Come on, Comanche.
Come on, Comanche. Come on, Blackfoot.
Come on,
Shoshone. Come on, Cheyenne.
come on, Robbie. But you don't stand a chance. Come on, against
What a
my
great song.
You don't stand a chance
You don't stand a chance
against my love.
against my love.
You don't stand a chance. Against my
Reminds me a bit of Peter Gabriel's music, doesn't it? Wonderful. Wonderful sounds. That's one I hadn't heard before, but I decided, you know what? It came well touted from my read-in as a standout on that album, featuring music inspired by his Native American genealogy, and so that's one that I wanted to include, and I'm happy that I did. It's a different sound that I'm used to him giving us, but man, it's lovely. It's just great. Since his passings, tributes have come pouring in from across the entertainment world, and now knowing his connection to Scorsese, I wanted to see if Martin Scorsese put out a statement, and he did. And this is what Scorsese said. Robbie was one of my closest friends, a constant in my life and my work. Long before we met, his music played a central role in my life. The band's music and Robbie's own solo music seemed to come from the deepest place at the heart of this continent. Its traditions and tragedies and joys. It goes without saying that he was a giant, that his effect on the art form was profound and lasting. That's quite a statement from Scorsese. I also read, there was tons of people that were speaking out about their love and respect for Robbie and his life and his work. Bruce Springsteen gave a concert just like hours after it was announced that Robbie had passed away, and he paid tribute to Robbie, dedicating his song "I'll See You in My Dreams" to Ronnie, and I thought that was a cool thing. So another legend lost, y'all. 80 years old, and these classic rockers are aging, and it's sad, but boy, I'm so grateful for the longevity and fruitfulness of his career, and we've got tons of music to enjoy as a lasting legacy of his life's work. So rest in peace, Robbie Robertson. It's been cathartic for me today to read up on him, to reconnect to my love of the band, and to learn more about his life and his music. And I hope that you enjoyed it and were paying tribute along with me. So thanks for being with me today for this special episode, and we will see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.